Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Small Talk, where real conversations lead to new perspectives.
Hmm.
My guest today is entrepreneur and business owner Brent Ramsey.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you so much, Chris, for having me on.
Yeah, of course, man. Did you always want to be an entrepreneur?
Oh man, so it's funny that like you say that um thinking about that question. Man, I can remember in elementary school. I think did we go to elementary school together?
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you go to River? Yeah, I thought so. And so I can remember early on being at Riverside Elementary School. My mama, she used to sell like Mary Kay and stuff like that, and she had samples. And I didn't know where they were from or what they were. They were men's, women's, but I remember taking these samples to school, trying to sell perfume and cologne to my classmates. And I mean, we're talking second grade, third grade, and I was, I had a heart behind that, right? And so looking back, entrepreneurial has always been a part of who I am. I didn't have a language for it early on,
Right.
but selling perfume at an elementary school, that was probably the start of it. I remember being in middle school, transitioned over to Mitchell County school systems and in middle school, and I can remember the school bus would drop me off certain locations so I can mow yards. And so that was probably the first legal business that I had as far as taking. I was 13 years old, getting dropped off to mow somebody's yard, and but as far as like the tax filings and all that stuff, like that's where that role stepped in. And so I can remember elementary school, middle school, always having a heart for entrepreneurship. Not necessarily knowing what those words meant at the time, but I was always drawn to opportunities. The consistent support. I will say this: being a young parent right now of a 2 year old, the consistent support of my parents. It gave me the confidence to take risk back then, even at an early age, 13. I mean, you're going to Jonas Ridge, John Deere, uh, and you're buying a piece of equipment that costs $1,500, $1,600. Like that's a big risk when you're 13 years old.
Oh, yeah.
But my parents, they gave me that confidence and to take that risk, to learn from failures. I've had plenty of failures in the past 33 years. But they gave me the ability to learn from those failures, and then to also know that those failures, they might set you back, but at the end of it, they don't collapse you, right? So it's all about moving forward, getting back up and moving forward. Um, that's really the whole mindset. We've had failures. We've had failures at Sip Soda Shop, and the Lord's blessed us so much in that entity, and we're grateful for that. We're grateful for the people that buy in to Sip Soda Shop, and our loyal supporters and stuff. But at the same time, like it hasn't always been roses and
Right.
butterflies. Like there's been some setbacks, and so yeah.
Well, you talked about some of those earlier expenses or experiences before you kind of got started. Before there's like Mary Kay or mowing yards. Were there other ventures before you started this, real business that you tried your hand in?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, like we said, we talked about elementary school, we talked about lawn care adventures. I would say when I was 23 years old, I was a fresh graduate from Gardner Webb University. I just finished up school, started graduate school at Liberty University, and I was doing that online. And had a full time job at that time. I was going to school as a grad student, honestly, full time, and started piddling with photography. I always had a desire for videography and photography and stuff like that. And again, just something out of the blue. Didn't have a degree in this. It's just a desire. I had a passion for it,
Right.
and so I jumped into it. We launched Blue Ridge Film Productions, and over the past decade, we've had the honor and the privilege to film over 200 wedding videos all across the nation. And we've been from the East Coast to the West Coast. And actually, at 6 o'clock tonight, this I think we're here at 7:30 right now. 6 p.m. tonight, I was on the phone with a potential bride, and so the hustle never stops, the push never stops. But yeah, over the past decade, I would say Blue Ridge Film Productions has been a huge part of who I am. Um, that experience, it's taught me so much about branding and storytelling and leadership and how to constantly deliver with excellence. And I think that's so important in today's realm in entrepreneurship. Is just you might be able to do ABC, but you also have to be able to do XYZ, right? Like you
Oh
have to
yeah.
be able to deliver with excellence. You can't just start up and start the process, but you have to finish it as well. And so I would say that with being with Blue Ridge Film Productions, it's allowed me to have that. It's also allowed me to get that skill set, skills that become foundational for what I'm doing right now as far as Sip Soda Shop and like the legality of it, uh, building relationships and all that stuff comes into play during my early business adventures.
Yeah, I definitely have a bunch of follow-up questions as far as brand and a network and stuff like that a
Yeah,
little later
absolutely.
on. Uh, I read somewhere that you got some inspiration to start the Sip Sodas from a vacation you took in Utah.
Yeah, well,
Is there
I would
truth to
call it
that, or can you elaborate on that any?
absolutely. It is true. I would call it. So I would call it a vacation. My wife was actually on business. We were there with some good friends, lifelong best friends of ours, and we for me it was a vacation. For my wife, it was a business trip that we was trying to make a vacation out of. But yeah, in 2021, we had ventured out to Utah. Um, and for some business training, and while there, we experienced this bizarre I would call it a fad at the time, but it's taken things by wave. It's been around for 16 years now. That's dirty soda. We became familiar with the concept of dirty soda, and so which started in 2010 in Utah, and we started seeing these soda shops, Swig, Sodalicious, Fizz, and there was people going bunkers over this product.
Right.
And so on the flight home, we loved it. We loved it while we was out there. On the flight home from Utah, we were flying back on a Sunday. I told my wife, I said, listen, I don't know what we're going to do to make this happen, but we're bringing this back home with us. We're bringing it back home. And I know a lot of people have taught and stuff. They'll say, "Hey, we're doing this," and it's hard to follow through with something from that magnitude. But the following Sunday, I was coming home with a horse trailer to convert into our first dirty soda sip soda shop trailer, and so we spent. So we were in Utah one week. The next week, I was coming home with our first unit. Spent about 2 months going through that whole unit, developing it, making it, customizing it to fit our needs. And this thing was bad. Like it was rusted into. It was a horse trailer, and it was made to be a horse trailer. And so I could have stuck my head through the side panel. It was so rusted into, and pretty sure when I pulled into my parents' driveway, um, my dad was on the verge of telling me a few choice words like, "What did you bring home?"
What are you
And,
doing?
yeah, and so we brought the trailer home. That was probably, I would say, around June, and spent some of June, July, and a little bit of August getting that trailer up and running. September of that year, we had our first event. Um, and really saw a lot of success there. But something that we also saw is this is just it's not doing it for us. The demand, we can't keep up with demand, and so we undershot ourselves. And so something that I realized from that Utah trip, though, and at Sip Soda, we try to We believe that there's a reason for everything that we do. Like God has put us in a place, in a position, and He wants to use you. And so I've always stood behind that. Proverbs 16, verse 3 says, "Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established." And I think that we have to put our faith in Him. And so yeah, from the very beginning. Um, I committed these plans. I said, "Hey, listen, I think that this is what we're going to do." And 5 years later, would I have known that we would be at the level that we are at? Absolutely not. But 100% of it is because the Lord's blessed us with that opportunity and stuff. And so yeah, that Utah trip was big.
Well, you took something that you were inspired by, but you twisted it and kind of made it your own that separated itself.
Absolutely, yeah, and so that's the thing about it. You can come. That's what makes Sip Soda Shop special is you can come to it, and it's not like you're getting something off of the menu that's already been created. It's almost like our customers. They get a little bit of creativity in this. They get to make what they want, how they want it. Um, we stole the slogan from Burger King. You can have it your way, and that's what we always tell people. They're like, "Can we do this, but leave this out, or can we add this?" And listen, like we're here to make whatever your mind can imagine, whatever you think that your taste buds are wanting us to deliver. We got it, and so it is. I think that's what sets us apart. We're able to make what people are craving, and that's exciting. Kids love it, adults love it, and so yeah, and there wasn't nothing like this on the East Coast, and so that's exciting that you said that we were able to bring something here because this was trending on the West Coast. It was a big deal there, and so we were the first in North Carolina to bring dirty soda, and that was exciting for us. Um, what's even more exciting today is in 2025, in August of 2025, we received our FDD, which is a franchise disclosure document that
Okay.
allows us to sell franchises across the country. And right now, we're the only dirty soda establishment that has franchised their business on a mobile scale. And so, if you look at that, there's Swig, there's So Delicious, there's Fizz. These are multi-million-dollar companies that have dozens and dozens of facilities. Some have over 100 establishments out west, and they're slowly moving east. But we were able to be the forefront and to pioneer the concept of mobile, making it mobile, and which I think is huge for that. But yeah,
Now, is that something you had to apply for, or you were selected for
what's that?
the FDA where you could franchise?
So it's LPD, and so it's franchise
FDD?
disclosure document. And so, no, we applied for it. It's something that costs a lot of money. So you go through anybody can, if you got a concept, you can franchise that concept. And so if you're making dartboards, I'm sitting down here in my mother-in-law's basement. I'm seeing a dartboard right now. If you want to franchise that dartboard and sell dartboards, I guess you could do that if you wanted to. But we went through the process of registering our trademark. We got two LLCs. We got our Sip Soda Shop LLC. We got a franchise LLC. We worked with a legal firm out of New Jersey, and 100% all they do is they work with franchises. Last week, I had 4 consultant calls in one day working with franchise consultants, and so it's a lot more than just making soda. It's so much. Sip Soda Shop is so much more than just making soda, and I don't want to get lost in the mindset that it's just business as well, because we rely so much on the individuals that are waiting in line at drive-throughs or coming up to the trailers, and that's what makes Sip Soda Shop what it is. But as far as my role in Sip Soda Shop, it's a little bit more behind the scenes, and I think it's going to become a little bit more of that the more that we
Right.
grow. But yeah, the FDD. it takes money to get your LTD, quite a bit of it at times, and so that's a big risk factor that we are leveraging on right now. Like we're saying, hey, we believe in this product, and we're hoping people will buy into it with us as well. We're saying, listen, your success is our success.
Right.
And something that we realized is that in 2024 that we have made Sip Soda Shop as big as it's going to get on our level. And so right now we're trying to create it to where other people can pick up where we left off or where we're at and say, hey, listen, I got to bring this to my hometown. I got to bring this to my community. And it's there. It's there. We got a 200-page operations manual that shows you everything from how to build relationships with people in your community to how to start your generator to how to make the drinks. And so anything and everything that you can think of as far as how to operate our business, um, we have that for you. When you buy into a Sip Soda Shop, you have ongoing training and support, but you have 40 hours of training up front. We'll give you a trailer, we'll give you a POS system, we'll give you a nugget ice maker. We give you $15,000 worth of product when you buy in. Essentially, when you buy into a Sip Soda Shop franchise, you're able to hit the road running, but we're coming along with you. And for that first week, we're gonna be right beside you, guiding you, cheering you on, setting you up for success. And because ultimately your success is our success. And so yeah, that's a little bit about the LDD. That's where we're at right now. That's our big adventure this year. We're praying for 3 to 5 families that would join out and say, "Hey, listen, like we want to be a part of this. We want to drop the 9 to 5 job, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I mean, anytime that you're going to step into a business of your own, and the reality of it is you have to work for your money. You're not working for somebody else to pay you anymore. Like you can make as much money as you want to make selling sodas, but you got to work for it. And so
All depends on
it's
the effort you're willing to put in.
yeah, absolutely.
What do you think separates people who talk about starting a business versus those who actually do it?
Oh
Because you talked
man,
about the commitment, but is there more that people are missing there?
what do you think separates people from actually doing it versus just talking about it? I think a lot of people are scared of failure. I think that's why a lot of people don't follow through. They will talk the talk, but they don't want to walk the walk, so to say. And I think a lot of reasons why is because they're afraid of failure. And um, the reality of it is you're going to miss how many shots that you don't take.
Right.
You're going to miss 100% of them. So, and a lot of times we're saying, hey, listen, like I would rather just not take the shot than maybe
Risk the
miss
chance of missing it.
risk the chance of missing it. But if you don't take the shot at all, like you're losing everything. But there might be that option. There might be that job or that like if you're passionate about something, step out and do it. And because the reality of it is somebody's probably going to take you up on it, and they're probably going to fall in love with it. And if they don't, you step back, you pivot, and you figure out what you can do to maybe rearrange the process to make it more appealing or something, And we've done that. Like we've introduced things at times and we said, hey, like this was a major blow. Like we need to step back and maybe not do this. Or people actually love this. They love that we're doing this, and so we'll say we need to do more of that. Something that's really took off for us, we started it in the fall, was our seasonal menu, and now people
Right.
crave our seasonal menus. So I would say 75% of the drinks that we sell now at Sip Soda Shop are seasonal drinks, and so that's been a success story for us. And so find what works for you and indulge in it, dive into it.
A lot of that trial and error.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of that. Like, there's going to be a lot of failed attempts. So I was in ministry for the last 4 years. I resigned in July or June of 2025 this past year. Love being a part of ministry. Love that we're still at the church that I worked at. But I just had noticed that I had neglected my first ministry of being a husband and a wife. And I wanted to spend more time being home with my kids. I noticed that I was just not home. And so um, when you have a business, yeah, you have to work for that business, but you also have the ability to kind of make your own schedule. And that's what's so good about this. And so um there's a lot of failed attempts. And in ministry, what I learned is um something called the bell curve strategy. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this, but if you think about a bell curve, it goes up and then it starts to curve and then it comes back down. And so the reality of it is if you're a business owner, if you're in a business, um, just looking for a piece of paper or something, we'll see what we got here. They're not right. Well, yeah, we're right on this. So, um, well, it's not. Here we go. We're right on this. A bell curve is going, and this is beer related, but it's not mine. So, but a bell curve is here, right? And so you always want to be trending up. You can see how the bell curve goes up, 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 up. And so as long as you're trending up, everything is great, right? The business is growing, everything is working good, but then things start to slow down, right?
You're on
You
that
know, it's
downslide.
well, before you get to the downslide, things start to mellow out a little bit. And so it's just like the stock market or anything else. Like it's trending high, it's good, and then it's suddenly just starts to slow down. It's not trending as high. And so that's when you want to reevaluate, right? You want to say, okay, we were doing really hot and now we're not. And so how can we redevelop? And so what you want to do is when when you start to slow down, you can see right here, say we're going up right here. When you start to slow down, how can you pivot your business model to say, hey, listen, we got to restructure, we got to fix something so we can then in return go back up. And so because the last thing you want to do is mellow out here and then start dipping down. And so in any business, you want to make sure that you're always trending up, and there's going to be times where you're not. And that's where you as a business owner step in and say, what can we change or what can we do to navigate this to get us back on a positive trend? And it can be some tough seasons during that time.
Uh, what do you think is one of the biggest motivators why someone would try to get into or join entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So entrepreneurship, it's not glamorous most days. Like it's not. Most people think, oh, you own your business, and I'm trying to sell my business, but I need you to know the reality of it is it's not always positive, right? It's not always easy. It's hardly ever easy. It requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of resilience, a lot of willingness to work when no one is watching. And so that's the reality of it is it's your business. You got to work for it, right? Nobody's gonna do the work for you. It's your business. You got to work for it. And so for me, um, my motivation is entrepreneurship. It goes way beyond financial gain. It goes way beyond financial gain. Now, the reason why we do what we do is so we can support our family, and with that, we have to make money, right? But it's not just about financial gain. It's about purpose, right? It's about impact. It's about building something that creates opportunity for others while staying aligned in values. And so, to talk a little bit about values, we kind of hit on that. Our vision at Sip Soda Shop goes beyond selling beverages. It really does. It's not about selling a beverage. That's what we're known for. It's what's on the side of our trailer. But we're focused on building a culture of joy, of faith, of connection. See, every cup that we pour at Sip Soda Shop, it represents an opportunity to encourage kindness. It sparks conversation, positive impact. Like every person that pulls up to our trailer or walks up to our trailer, we want them to leave with a positive impact. And like we believe that business can be a platform for good. And so with Sip Soda Shop, that's essentially what we do. And so people, if they leave feeling seen, if they leave feeling valued, then we've done our job and we've accomplished more than just a transaction. And so it's so much more. When I say it's so much more than just making soda, it's so much more.
Well, yeah, the deeperness to it brings you more of a purpose to what you're getting up for every day.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Like whatever you do, like Colossians chapter 3, it says something like, whatever you do, work at it with all of your heart. And so, regardless what you're doing, we got a boy named Leighton who works in our trailer. We call our workers that mixed drinks mixologist. And so that's the team title there. Um, he's 16 years old. Most of our workers that work for us, they're high school, college students, and they love what they're doing. They love work. We have an atmosphere and environment where people they love to be there, and so. But whatever you do it with 100%. Whatever you do it with all of your heart. And outside of scripture, that could be said with anything. I mean, we don't want to halfway do something, and so when you have a business, speaking on entrepreneurial role, um, when you halfway do your business, you're going to get halfway results. And so that's why you have to go full in. You have to submit to this, commit to this, and you're going to see results. You definitely are going to see results. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. It's scripture. Yeah.
That commitment and consistency really goes a long way as well.
Absolutely, and discipline and resilience. Like you have to be willing to give all of that in.
When you talk about people, kind of coming up to the trailer, what are the advantages of a mobile business model versus like a brick and mortar store?
Yeah. Yeah, so like we franchised our process, our model, and we done it mobily. We were the first in the country to do that. We think that it's huge to stay mobile. We've had some people actually reach out to potential interest, and they said, "Hey, listen, like we would love to do Sip Soda Shop, but we don't want to do it mobile." And we said, "Well, we're probably not the business for you." And we said that with a loving, compassionate heart, but the mobile model, drastically it reduces overhead. It increases flexibility, and so you're not going to have your water bill, your electrical bill. You're not going to have the big tax payments and stuff. But instead um, of being located in one spot, it gives us the flexibility. Instead of relying on foot traffic, we bring the experience to the people, right? So we're serving those hospitals, those universities, those schools, corporations, festivals all across the state. We got invited this past year to go to the Azalea Festival in Wilmington. We've applied to be at the State Fair this year in North Carolina. We do festivals in upstate South Carolina and Tennessee, and so it just allows us to go to those people. We just got reached out by the chief executive chef over retail at Appalachian State University, and they said, "Hey, listen, we'd love for you to bring your trailer on our campus for a semi-permanent setup." And so it would stay there 3 or 4 days a week, which is huge for us. And so we're able to pull in, serve people. We can stay as long as we want, and then we can leave and go to the next avenue or venue that we need to get to.
When you talk about the mobility and the flexibility, with a mobile business, though, do you see more success in certain areas, or have you seen, more profits or more people that kind of come out
Oh
versus
yeah,
more?
absolutely. Yeah. I think it takes a little while for things to get established for people to figure out who you are. And so we did definitely have hot spots where people just, it thrives and it stays consistent through an 8 hour period. We'll stay, consistent the whole day. Whereas we'll go to a new area where they're unfamiliar. I mean, I drove through the campus of East Tennessee State University today, and it was fun to just look at college students' faces as they were waiting to get on the trolleys and stuff, and walking across campuses. They were like, "What's this?" And so it has a little bit of curiosity with it. I feel like we do a good job of marketing ourselves and putting a detailed wrap that's fun and engaging and poppy. And so it definitely brings out some curiosity for folks. But yeah, we have those hot spots, and we also have some new territories that we're working in that, it takes a minute to get established in that area.
How did you go about, formulating the brand of sip sodas?
Yeah, so I mean, everything that you see there was all done in house as far as the logo, the name, and we kind of pondered early on in Sip Soda history. We pondered on names and kind of landed on that. We wanted something that wasn't that wasn't uh, directed towards one territory or one area, but something that could be expanded. We thought about that early on, and um, so Sip Soda Shop, it kind of, it would fit in Orlando, Florida, or Nashville, Tennessee, and it definitely fits in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. And so, but the colors and everything, like we wanted something that was kind of boutique-ish. We didn't want something that was too vibrant, even though our trailer kind of has a lot of popping and a lot of colors to it. But our main colors are gold and blue and white, and that's kind of our standard. Not to say that we wouldn't step out of that at times to do some marketing or something, but everything was done in house, and I think a lot of that has to do with, not to brag on myself, but to say this as humbly as possible, is just, I've been in this adventure. I was communications director for 4 years at a large church in the area, and so it gave me the ability to expound on creativity, and I was able to take that and just already being in cinematography and having that eye for marketing and stuff. It really helped. And so honestly, I think one adventure at an early age led to another adventure that just it kept my ability to continue that process of learning how to do things. Just, there's a desire there, and it definitely helped with the business.
How important is it to understand marketing as far as on a mobile business to try to get yourself out there and to learn these new territories and to kind of keep your current customers keep coming back?
Yeah, marketing is everything. Marketing is everything. Making the product is the final step to the business. Making that drink is the final step, but branding, storytelling, positioning, are what open doors, right? So like you have to build that relationship. You have to build the momentum for people to get excited. Many of our events are booked over a year in advance, and so right now we do 300 events a year. That's just setting up 300 setups a year, and we could easily push that to 500 setups. We have it's upsetting, but it is every week. It's multiple times a week that we have someone saying, "Hey, can you do this?" And we have to say no. And the reality of it is we want to do every bit of it. As a business owner, you want to do every bit of it. People love your product, and so you want to do every bit of it. And so, but the reality of it is there's only so many hours in the day, and so right now we're maxed out at 300 events a year. We have 2 trailers right now that are operating, and we'll have 2 more trucks this year rolling out, and so we'll have 4 units in 2026 that are getting sent out, and that will expound a little bit. We'll be able to hopefully reach 400, 450 events in 2026. My hope is, and so, um, but yeah, we're just marketing's everything, and so the cool thing about Sip Soda Shop and people that are interested in buying in, maybe you're looking for an avenue that's a successful mindset, something that's already doing really well in the business and is totally unique, and that's us. There is not another dirty soda mobile venue out there that is doing things to the level that we are, and again, I say that so humble, but at the same time, just complete facts. And so, but the reality of it is we have a lot of people that they'll get a trailer, they'll get a horse trailer, they'll get something, and they've made lemonade maybe, and now they're saying, hey, we'll get a 12 pack of Coke and start doing dirty sodas. And listen, as an entrepreneur, you have to start somewhere. And we don't nix those people. We encourage those people like, hey, listen, if you got a dream, shoot for it. Um, if you want to miss a lot of the headaches and you want something that's super successful, that's why people buy into franchises for, is so they can bypass all the headache, and they already have their relationships. Franchises already have their relationships. We've already been on 4 different universities, and every one of those territories that we've been on, those universities are available. So UNC, Asheville, ETSU, App State, like you can go to those right now, and we can set you up, and you'll have a relationship with that university, and so which is huge. And but if you go to build a trailer and start your own little adventure, um, we wish you all the success, but part of it is marketing, like we've already went ahead, done the work for you. And so people say, well, why would I want to buy into a franchise when I can just do it on my own? And the reality of it is because we've already went ahead and paved the road to
You
build those
built that foundation.
relationships. Exactly. And so, so that buy-in, um, and we don't really make a ton of money off of franchises. We don't. I said it earlier. It's got to the point where we can't do any more work. Like we're maxed out at 300 events a year. And so, if we're going to take Sip Soda Shop to the next level, it's going to be somebody else coming alongside of us and saying, "Hey, listen, make your success my success." And so that's what it comes down to.
Well, you talk about maxing out your time as far as the dates. 300 dates a year out of 365. That's quite a lot of bad dates.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with time go as far as a business owner?
Yeah. So time is one of the greatest challenges, right? There's not enough time in the day. I wish there was more time because I definitely could use some of it. But in entrepreneurship, it's early mornings, it's late nights, it's sacrificing weekends. Weekends are a large part of the journey, and so with a growing family, my wife, she's currently pregnant. We're expecting her second child, and so I've learned that success it's not just about building a business. It's not just about building Sip Soda Shop, and that's one of the reasons why I stepped away from ministry, because I had neglected my first ministry of being a husband, being a dad. But it's about stewarding time wisely. It's about uh, not just checking in 9 to 5 and checking into your franchise or your business and working with consultants and stuff, but no, it's checking in with your kids, checking in with your wife, making sure that you're leading appropriately, and being the best husband and dad that you can possibly be. And so Psalms 90 verse 12 says, teach us to number our days. And so it's a big sacrifice. It really is. And I always tell people, like if you're money hungry, you can make as much money as you want to make selling sodas. You really can. You can make as much money as you want to make, but you got to work for it. You got to bust your butt. And we want people that, like, if you're going to buy into Sips, we want you to be invested 100%. Like, we don't want this to be a part-time gig, because ultimately your success is our success. But at the end of the day, like, we value family. We value family huge. And so, um, we know that time is of the essence, and it's a huge challenge in entrepreneurship.
Well, you talked about some of the help that you have is some of the people that's in high school, maybe some college freshmen, maybe. Is it hard to delegate some of those tasks that you've been
Yeah,
so used to you taking on yourself?
yeah, absolutely. Early on, it was really hard. Now it's getting to the point like where I see that, I have to let go of some things. Delegation is critical to growth, and I start seeing that more and more. Even though it's difficult, a CEO should understand how to make the product, how to make the drink, how to make the soda, how it's made. But their primary focus is not making that soda. Their primary focus must be the vision. It must be the systems. It must be culture and long-term strategy. So we have to let go of some of the things that we feel like are maybe minimal to often key to scaling, right. We have to be letting go of the control of maybe making drinks or something like that, so we can focus more time on systems, culture, and just long-term strategy.
Was there a specific moment or time when you knew that it was time to kind of bring somebody on to do those different tasks?
Yeah, absolutely. And so our first year, it was completely family run. We struggled at times, just trying to make time for everything, but it was a lot of sacrifice. We also wanted to know that we could master every part of the business, and so everybody that's all the family, they know how to do everything, And I think that, like I say, the CEO should know how to do the whole business. And so I think that was important. Today we employ during peak season, we'll have, 10, 12 high school, college students that will operate and help us run smoothly. And that's during the peak season. During the wintertime, slow season, this is their first year actually going year round. We have probably about 4 or 5 kids that we can call upon. Many of these, like I say, they're students. Hiring allowed us to scale while also protecting culture and quality of the business, and so it's been good.
Well, you touched on the family aspect as far as like co-owning a business.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain that dynamic, and has ego or anything ever kind of come into play?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like
Decision
it.
making?
Oh well, let me say here. It depends on if my parents are watching this or not. I don't know if they're going to watch this or not, but no. Either way, I'll speak honest truth. It definitely it can be difficult at times working for family, right? And we all know that nobody's going to push you harder than your family. Nobody's going to love you more than your family ultimately. But and nobody's going to upset you more than probably your family. But family business has unique strengths, right? Like they're going to trust you. They're going to have commitment. They're going to have shared vision. But it also requires a lot of clear boundaries.
Right.
Defined roles, communication, accountability. All those things are huge when you're running a family business dynamic, and so yeah, it definitely can be tough at times, but it also is a joy. Me and my dad, our relationship is better than it's ever been, and but there are some times where it's going to be one of those days, and but we also have a lot of good days as well.
Was there ever an opportunity or a situation where somebody was maybe afraid to say no to certain somebody, or was always saying yes?
I think me and my dad, we do a really good job of so he's 50-50. We're 50-50 owners, me and my dad, and we do a really good job of just sitting down and making sure we're both on the same page. And um, he believes in me, and and I believe in him. So we don't really combat each other too much.
Good transparency back and forth.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you talked about the early mistakes, kind of early forward. What was some of your biggest mistakes in your first year, and what'd you learn from it?
Yeah, so I would say one of our biggest mistakes was probably starting too small, right? So like 3 months into this adventure of selling dirty soda, we noticed that we were way too small. We couldn't scale, and so we underestimated our demands and invested in equipment that couldn't keep up with the demands. And so that taught us an important lesson. Excellence requires proper investment and growth, and so and with that, planning should take place, and it didn't. We didn't really know what we were getting into. We didn't know how people were going to respond to it. We spent $6,000 on an ice machine that worked maybe 1 month.
Huh.
And it was a brand new ice machine, and it's still working, but it's only been in service 1 month because we realized that that $6,000 paperweight it just couldn't keep up with the demand of our people. And so
Right.
now our current ice machine is $16,000, and it makes 1,600 pounds of ice a day. And large weekend events, we can go through some weight on ice. And so something that we just realized was, we didn't scale properly for the equipment. 3 months into this adventure, we were upsizing our trailer. We went from a 10-foot bumper pull horse trailer to a 18-foot Vino, so it's 20 foot from the front to the back, and it just allows us to. We custom designed it. It's created in a way that it works best for us, and so just, yeah, scaling too small, not getting the right equipment. That was a huge costly mistake for us.
What are some of the sacrifices that people don't see that come along with being successful?
Oh man, so I mean, I would just say, like, we talked about your weekends, we talked about your time, your family, late nights, early mornings, all of that. I've been up at 5:30 this week. I've got home super late, put a lot of miles on the road. My dad, he's currently out of work because he just had a torn ACL and PCL, so he had surgery. And so right now I'm taking a lot of weight on that. And we operated seven setups this week so far. It's Thursday, and so we done 7 events, and with that, that means I'm dropping off trailers early in the morning. I'm picking them up late at night. Um, and so it's being away from your family a little bit more than probably what I want to be. Um, and it's just, there's a lot of sacrifice in that. And so
Well, hopefully he recovers. I'm a runner. I would hate to have that injury.
yeah, yeah, it's but and he's good. He's ready to jump in the trailer. I know he's missed. A lot of people ask about him, and so they're praying for him and stuff. And so he certainly loves what he does. But yeah, it is a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. It is. But at the end of the day, like, there is some sacrifice to it, and yeah.
Well, you talked about the connections you made with different, whether it's hotels, colleges, and different
Mhm.
spots. Is networking more about who you know or about who knows you?
Oh, networking more about who you know. I think it's a combination of both. I've built a lot of relationships with a lot of people, um, in all different walks of life, and so uh, I feel like it's all about not devaluing people. I know people that have status, and I know people that you know that maybe would be considered the lowest of the low. And I think it's all about treating people with respect, and treating them all the same. And so, but networking and growth, it's a mixture of both. It's respecting individuals. I think when you go to respecting, there's going to be a time where you can call upon somebody, regardless if you need them now or not. And so, networking is huge. Take time out of your day to have a conversation with somebody, because you never know where it's going to lead, right? And might lead to nowhere, but then maybe you could bless that person. And so networking, it essentially accelerates your growth. If you're trying, we weren't meant to go through this life alone. Um, Proverbs 20 verse 18 says something like, many advisors, like if you have many advisors, you will succeed. It's the same. It's true with networking. Networking accelerates growth. Learning from experienced entrepreneurs, learning from somebody who has already paved the way, who's already done the work, franchise experts. I had 4 meetings last week and one day with franchise consultants, and just to hear their expertise and their wisdom and their guidance, it helps avoid a lot of costly mistakes. It opens doors that wouldn't otherwise exist. And so I think it's important to lean and leverage your weight on other people at times.
I want to get you out of here on this because I like to leave every episode with a final thought from my guest.
Yeah.
What's the biggest tall tale sign that an entrepreneur is going to be successful?
Mm. I would say successful entrepreneurs, they share vision. They share vision. They are resilient. They have adaptability. You have to be able to adapt. We talked about failure. You will fail. You will fail. You will fail. Failure isn't the enemy. Failure isn't the enemy. Stagnation is. Being stagnant is the enemy. So when you fail, don't feel like it's all over. It's time to throw it up, hang it up. No, when you become stagnant, you fail. When you stop, you fail. And so it's important to know when to adjust, to when to invest. Um, it's all about not stopping, but continually being able to get back up and move forward. Partner through proven systems like franchising is often the difference maker. And so that's why we do that's why Sip Soda Shop franchised for it. And that's why we're not saying, hey, just become a regular lemonade stand. But no, we've already created a pathway for you that is successful, that's proven for success. And so um, if you're thinking about entrepreneurship, you have to have a shared vision. You have to be resilient. You have to be adaptable. And when you fail, get back up and figure out why you failed. And when you figure that out, maybe you don't figure it out, but try something different. And if that fails, try something different, because eventually you're going to break through, but don't become stagnant.
Brent, thank you so much for stopping by. You
Thank you,
shared some
Chris.
incredible insights and taking us on your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. And we're here. We're here for people to succeed. We love watching people succeed. And um, I will say this, Chris, if I can leave it one thing, it's our mission statement at SIPS, and it's at the core of everything that we do. We do is very simple. At the core of everything that we do is very simple, but intentional missions to glorify God by serving people well. For us, excellence isn't optional, and I think that's so important in entrepreneurship. We should strive for excellence. You should strive to be the best that you can be. Best hamburger maker, best candle maker, like whatever you're doing, be the best. It isn't optional. It's an act of worship. It's an act of worship. And so whether someone shares our faith or not, they should experience joy and care, right? Like people, when they come up to Sip Soda Shop, they should experience joy and care, genuine hospitality. You should make people feel welcome. If you're trying to go into entrepreneurship and you're like Debbie Downer, it's probably not going to work for you, but you have to make people feel welcome. Have that hospitality. And at Sip Soda Shop, we're not just serving drinks, we're serving people. And through something as simple as a soda, we aim to reflect the love of Jesus, to be a light in every community that we serve. See, like 1 Corinthians chapter 10, whatever you do, do it for the glory of God. And so there's a lot of people, they watch your show because they're interested in careers, right? Or entrepreneurship. Whatever you do it for the glory of God, and He will bless you for it.